In the name of God, everlasting mercy, infinite compassion, all praise is for God, Lord of the worlds, the entirely merciful, the especially compassionate, sovereign of the day of recompense. It is you we worship, and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you bestow favor, not those who evoke your anger, or those who went astray. Thank you, everybody, for responding to the call to come to Rumi's Urs. For those who don't know, the word Urs comes from Farsi. The word comes from the word for marriage, which is Urusi. When Maulana passed away 744 years ago today, he instructed his students and his disciples to celebrate his passing as a day of his union with the beloved, with God. So just a brief history of who's Rumi for those who are unfamiliar or new, and a little bit about his life and his legacy. So who is Rumi? The 13th century Persian poet is one of the most popular poets in America today. He was, hundreds of years ago, the center of a mystical and devotional movement within Islam. The 13th century was a turbulent time, and Rumi's family fled from their home in Afghanistan to Turkey, where Rumi became the leader of a religious community. He died in Turkey in 1273, and the religious order that he founded, the Mevlevi order of whirling dervishes, is still dancing today. Rumi is actually known by many names, and these different names reflect the circumstances of his life. He was born in Balkh, modern Afghanistan, in the year 1207, and was given the name Jalaluddin, glory of the faith. So he's often called Jalaluddin Balkhi, Jalaluddin from Balkh. When he was a teenager, the Mongol armies were sweeping through this part of Central Asia, so his family fled south to Konya in modern Turkey. He's also commonly referred to as Mevlana or Maulana, the master. The word Rumi actually means Roman. So he's called Rumi because he was from that part of the Roman Empire, in Anatolia, and he got the name Roman, which translates to Rumi in Farsi and that part of the world. In the year 1244, Rumi was in his late 30s and met a man who changed his life forever. Shams Tabrizi, Shams of Tabriz. Tabriz is a city in Iran, and Shams was from that city. The friendship between these two men was deep and profound, but it also caused dissension in Rumi's community. There was a lot of jealousies that came about. Rumi's sons and students were extremely jealous of Rumi's devotion and friendship with Shams. In 1248, Shams disappeared. It appears that he was murdered, perhaps even by a conspiracy led by somebody within Rumi's immediate family circle. Shams seems to have provided Rumi with his first inspiration to compose verses and songs, and Rumi continues to produce volume of ecstatic poetry until his death in 1273. Rumi dictated the verses in Persian while dancing and singing in a state of religious ecstasy. In the Masnavi, Rumi blends traditional stories from the Quran, from folklore, from history, and then analyzes the stories in the mystical terms of Islamic devotion called Sufism. So what is Sufism? Sufism is a mystical devotional current in Islam dating back to around the 8th century. It is ecstatic, esoteric, spiritual, and ascetic. The term Sufism, Arabic, from the word tasawwuf in Arabic, is derived from the word suf, meaning wool. This seems to have referred to the cheap woolen clothing worn by the early Sufi ascetics. Sufism is not a single movement, but there are many different schools of Sufi devotional practice. For example, Rumi's followers are called the Mevlevi order, derived from his name, Maulana, and they continue to practice their distinctive whirling dance and worship in Turkey until this was outlawed by Kemal Atatürk, great reformer in the 20th century, when he founded the modern secular state of Turkey. In the latter part of the 20th century, the Mevlevi order was revived as a kind of cultural performing group, staging their dances for an admiring public. Come, come, whoever you are, even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. Come, come, whoever you are, even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. Come, come again. Even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, nothing gone in. Come again. Come, come, wherever. Even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. Come, come, wherever you are, even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. Ya Allah, Allah, La ilaha illallah. Ya Allah, Allah, La ilaha illallah. Ya Allah, come, come, wherever you are. Even though you broke your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. Come, come, wherever you are. Even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. Come, come, wherever you are. Even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come. Now, Dr. Sadiq Kara will treat us with a few minutes of traditional Turkish music.
Sejak is a makam, like major minor. This song, without verse, belongs to Yusuf Pasha, Nani Neyzen Yusuf Pasha. In the belongs to 1880s.
La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. The alchemy of love. You come to us from another world, from beyond the stars and void of space, transcendent, pure, of unimaginable beauty, bringing with you the essence of love. You transform all who are touched by you. Mundane concerns, troubles, and sorrows dissolve in your presence, bringing joy to ruler and ruled, to peasant and king. You bewilder us with your grace. All evils transform into goodness. You are the master alchemist. You light the fire of love in earth and sky, in heart and soul of every being. Through your loving existence and non-existence merge. All opposites unite. All that is profane becomes sacred. We're going to invite some of our readers. We have been doing this for about 20 years. We started reading poetry Monday nights at the Cosmic Cafe. Some of you might know that place. According to some reputable sources, it's the longest running poetry group in the country, Sufi poetry group. Thanks to Jim Hunt, who has been the keeper of the flame. He has a remarkable way to recite Rumi's poem, and poetry is such a thing that the interaction of the human voice is needed to lift the words off of the page and make them fly off the page and into our hearts. And Jim has got that down. So I'm going to ask Jim to recite, and then after that, some of my colleagues here and anybody else who's got some poems in their hand they would not recite, please join in. So maybe if Malana hears the passion in our voice, maybe he might show up. You never know. We just hope out the whole that he does show up. Okay.
Thank you, Hadi.
Jim Hunt.
Yeah. Well, I go on every Monday night because I have a pretty boring life. And Monday night there's nothing else to do, so I go to the Cosmic Cafe and I read Rumi. And when Hadi was getting us going, he thanked everybody for answering the calls. And Rumi does that. He does
Jim,
that.
can you get up? Can you get up and recite a little louder?
We have to, all of us on this side of the room need to be louder because that separation is changing the acoustics in there. So
All right.
so stand.
As I was saying, Hadi, when he got the ball rolling here, he thanked everybody for answering the call. And I selected a few poems to read tonight, and one of them is called "A Voice Through the Door," which actually recognizes that call and our response to that call. And I'm going to start with that. Sometimes you hear a voice through the door calling you, as fish out of water hear the waves, or a hunting falcon hears the drums, come back. This turning toward what you deeply love saves you. This turning toward what you deeply love saves you. Children fill their shirts with rocks and carry them around. We're not children anymore. Read the book of your life, which has been given to you. A voice comes to your soul saying, lift your foot, crossover. Move into the emptiness of question and answer and question. Rumi. If I could read one more.
Yeah. Okay, can you read one more?
He also mentioned Shams of Tabriz, who kind of woke Rumi up. Rumi was a scholar, and Shams come along and threw all that scholarly stuff out the window. And he honors Shams in a lot of his poetry. And this one here I really like. If you catch a fragrance of the unseen, like that, you won't be able to be contained. You'll be out in an empty sky. Any beauty the world has, any desire, will easily be yours. As you live deeper in the heart, the mirror gets clearer and cleaner. Shams of Tabriz realized God in himself. Shams of Tabriz realized God in himself. When that happens, you have no anxieties about losing anyone or anything. You break the spells human difficulties cause. Interpretations come, hundreds, from all the religious symbols and parables and prayers. You know what they mean when God lives through you, like Shams.
Muhammad Buzgari, he's from Iran, and he will recite he'll recite one particular poem in the Farsi, which is it's a very well-known, very famous poem. It's the poem about the reed flute, in which the Maulana describes that the melancholy that you hear in the flute is because it was cut away and separated from the reed bed where it has grown. And he's talking about the human condition. We have been separated from the source too, and our longing is to return to that source. So Muhammad will recite that poem in the original Farsi, and then Jim Hunt will do a translation. Bismillah.
That is the beginning of the Rumi's Masnavi, and start with Vishnu in Farsi, which means listen. Now, Vishnu is started with letter B. The B, if you are familiar with Arabic or Farsi, is just like that. It had a dot under it. And Quran started with the same letter, Bismillah, with B, the dot under it. New scholars kind of argue that it just kind of copied Quran all the way to, not literally, but the meaning, what it means to be, in universe, God, and spiritual and divine. And some argue that B is actually the Big Bang. When it started with B, the civilizations expanded spiritually. First through Quran, then Rumi expanded a few centuries later, and all the way here. And all the science, literature, mathematics, all grow from there. That's the Big Bang. And Rumi thinks we all like a flute, all of us. Real flute. And there's a divine just playing song in every one of us. Our life is a song that he's playing. Vishnu az mi chun hikoyat mi konad vaz judoi ho shikoyat mi konad Kaznistan ta maro بریدن از نفیرم مرگزن نالیدن سینه خواهم شرح از فراق تا بگویم شرح درد اشتیاق شرح درد اشتیاق هر کسی کو دور ماند نسل خویش بازجوید روزگار وصل خویش. جان ز تن، تن به جان مستور نیست، لیز کس را دیدان دستور نیست. تن ز جان و جان ز تن مستور نیست، لیک چشم و گوش را آن نور نیست. Talking about this duality between body and soul. You don't have that light to see the difference. You just don't possess that light. They're all one. تن ز جان و جان ز تن مستور نیست، لیک کس را دید آن دستور نیست. When you're playing this flute to all humanity, you got a perfect man. Every once in a while, and you play that song to them. And they see the blueprint of soul and body. They can bring it out, pure essence. I'm going to go, Jim, go with English, part of that translation.
Listen to the story told by the reed of being separated. Since I was cut from the reed bed, I have made this crying sound. Anyone apart from someone he loves understands what I say. Anyone pulled from a source longs to go back. At any gathering, I am there, mingling in the laughing and grieving, a friend to each, but few will hear the secrets hidden within the notes. No ears for that. Body flowing out of spirit, spirit up from body, no concealing that mixing. But it's not given us to see the soul. The reed flute is fire, not wind. Be that empty. Hear the love fire tangle in the reed notes as bewilderment melts into wine. The reed is a friend to all who want the fabric torn and drawn away. The reed is hurt and salve combining, intimacy and longing for intimacy, one song. The one who secretly hears this is senseless. A tongue has one customer, the ear. A sugarcane flute has such effect because it was able to make sugar in the reed bed. The sound it makes is for everyone. Days full of wanting, let them go by without worrying that they do. Stay where you are inside such a pure, hollow note. Every thirst gets satisfied, except that of these fish, the mystics, who swim a vast ocean of grace, still somehow longing for it. No one lives in that without being nourished every day. But if someone doesn't want to hear the song of the reed flute, it's best to cut the conversation short, say goodbye, and leave.
The word tonight, in Turkish is ush, in Farsi is ish. And it's interesting because it's a word that sounds something, but it also does something. The word, the Q, circles your heart when you say it. Ish, ish, ush. Same third. Ish, ush. Okay? Now, Imam Ghazali says there are three ways to read the Quran. One is to read the words and look at the understanding it. The other is to hear it. And the third is to go beyond to the source that has no words. And so this poem kind of leads you there. And I like it in particular because when you hear it, Milano would spin as he recited, and you can hear his footsteps In ish kamalasto hamal. Vinef hialasto hilal. In nur jalalasto jalal. In rouge visalasto visal. In this love is perfection. These passions are illusion. In this light is glory. Today is the day of union.
And you're gazing out on your left. Okay, here we go. So we started with the quarter, now we're just gonna keep going, okay? Anybody have any questions before we go? Anybody want to add to this?
There's a technique they call stringing the pearls. If you can imagine a string going down your center with the pearl in the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, so that as you spin, you have an access point. And so those of you sitting, you can also string your pearls. You just find your center, and what happens is you align all your bodies so they can go up and meet with the beloved.
Because that's what this is about. It's not for show. It's really a spiritual practice. It's really a spiritual practice. If you do this, you'll find that after you turn, you will be altered. Usually we're kind of in an altered state for a while, and you kind of have to ground down before you start getting in your car. You got to do some breath through your feet. You got to get grounded down because this will get you into a different space. So, okay, here we go. Enough said? Okay, here we go. So, anybody else want to try? Come in.